Alright, what's up guys? This is NinjaDeathStrike bringing you another Pokemon TCGO battle. This is a fun deck I built. I know you guys like seeing kind of the rogue decks, and this is one that I was playing around with, I guess, a couple of days ago. It's a lot of fun, so this is a great match to get with it. I'm really glad that I captured this one, just because of a couple things that happened. But as you can see there, I've got Amoonguss. I actually have 4 Amoonguss in this deck. So the main idea behind the deck is have Amoonguss add status and then use Leafeon to hit for 100 damage with 1 energy every turn. And as you guys know, the EX cards are really vulnerable to status as well. I haven't actually tested this deck a whole lot, so I'm not going to say that, you know, it's an awesome deck to play, like an anti-meta deck or anything, but when it works, it's pretty great. So we see here there's a Spinarak and a Magby out, and it turns out my opponent is also using a status deck, but he doesn't really know how to use it that well. It's kind of a mess, but it made for a pretty fun match. So anyhow, I'm going to Sage. I don't want to end right yet, just in case I get, you know, behind later. I'd rather save it for then. And also, I have the Amoonguss in my hand, so I'm guaranteed to get one down on the second turn, so I didn't want to risk not being able to get into that next turn. So here's a pretty good look at the deck. You can see very, very simple structure. We've got Leafeon, we've got Amoonguss. That's it. We got Cleffa to have a free retreater, but I think I've actually taken Cleffa out because you don't really need her. Everything retreats for 1, and Amoonguss is only going to be active when he gets catchered up, but that's not too big of a problem, as you'll see why later. You also see I had that 1 Espeon Prime in there. That's just kind of as a soft check to Mewtwo EX. If I can get it on the field, I can one-shot a Mewtwo with Miasma Wind, assuming that I get an Amoonguss down on the board. It'll hit for 200 for Mewtwo, so that's why he's in there. But I decided to go ahead and Eek, even though I didn't play the end, so I guess I figured I have a pretty strong chance of getting into an Amoonguss again with my next hand, since I have 4 and I run quite a few level ball and I'm searching things. But unfortunately, you can see here I did not get one. I got a handful of supporters and a super scoop up, which was not going to help me just yet. So I'm going to go ahead and Oak, hope that I can get into something better, and I don't. I get a handful of trainers. So not a productive turn at all. I should have just kept the hand I had probably. But there we go. Going to Eke out, and let's see if I can get into anything this time. So there we go. That looks like a much better hand. We've got a level ball, so that's going to give us a Amoonguss. We've got a Leafeon, so I'm guaranteed to hit for 100 this turn, assuming nothing gets killed by catcher. And my opponent is actually going to evolve into Gyarados, which is a card I'd never seen him play before. So I think I'm going to take a look at it here in a second and see what's up with Gyarados. It's not that great, but then he uses a level ball to get a Roserade, so going to be a status showdown, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Roserade versus Amoonguss, and there we go. Now I take a look at Gyarados. Leech Life does 30, and then it heals, and Poison Thing does 50 and automatically poisons. So he's going to attach DCE and just take out Cleffa. I guess he didn't have another energy to attach because he really didn't need to that turn, but there we go. I'm going to go ahead and get a Leafy on this turn. I'm going to play my Collector just to get my bench set up a little more. Also, since I've taken this match, I've actually taken all of the collectors out in favor of dual balls and level balls, just to give this deck a little bit more speed, because everything, with the exception of Espeon, is searchable by a level ball. And so I really don't need the collectors. I've replaced them with Oaks and Junipers just to keep the deck moving at a pretty quick pace. So there we go. Get my first Amoonguss down. Go ahead and use Spore Prize. That's going to poison and confuse him, which means Miasma Wind is going to hit for 100. Then I play my first Super Scoop Up and flip ahead, so I get to pick him right back up, and next turn I can play him again. So basically, in order for this deck to work, you need a little bit of luck, because you have to hit those Super Scoop Ups in order to get a constant flow of Amoonguss going and keep up the pressure by hitting for 100 every turn. So take my first prize, and I'm expecting Magby to come in here because it's really the only thing that can do anything. He doesn't have any other energy on the board. So here comes Roserade. Now if he's got a rainbow energy, he's going to poison and confuse me and burn me with Magby, so that's going to be pretty annoying. And he uses interviewer's questions here. Sucks that he can only get a grass energy, but I guess that will let him confuse me, I believe. Yep, grass is confusion. And then he can burn me with Magby as well. But flip of heads on the burn, he wakes up. So yeah, I basically flip heads continuously this entire match, which I'm sure aggravated my opponent to no end. So get a Sage. That's pretty ugly Sage. Lots of stuff I would have liked to keep, but I'm going to opt just to grab the rescue energy. I do not run a whole lot of energy in this deck since all of my attackers attack for 1. I think I have like 11, but I don't want to, you know, discard it all willy-nilly, especially since it looks like I'm going to be retreating a fair amount due to the fact that this is a status deck, so I don't want my guy's status, I want his guy's status. So I do something really stupid here. I discard the Eevee. Oh no, okay, I have a level ball. That must have been another match, or maybe it's later in this one where I discard it and I needed it. But anyhow, Junk Arm for the level ball. That's going to give me another Leafeon. And since Magby woke up, I don't even need to drop an Amoonguss this turn. I can just hit his Magby with a Miasma Wind. Or not Miasma Wind, Soothing Scent. It'll do 30, which is just enough to kill Magby. And then I still have the Amoonguss in hand if I need it next turn. So I attach the Rescue Energy here just because I figure Roserade's going to do something to me again next turn. And I'm going to have to retreat. So I may as well just have the Grass Energy there for retreating. And then he attaches an Eviolite to Roserade. I don't know. I was absolutely baffled. I was so baffled I take a look at his stats. He's got 58 wins and a lot of cards, so yeah. And then type a message for you guys here. What the fuck, Eviolite Roserade for the win? Yeah. I have no idea. I guess maybe he just didn't want it in his hand, but whatever, man. Maybe he was trying to abuse it, and so he's putting it on Roserade so that he can stack it later. I have no idea. But he flips aheads on his Crushing Hammer there. That's going to let him get rid of my Rescue Energy, which is kind of annoying. So I'm going to Sage here, get another kind of gross Sage. I would like to have the supporters, but I figure a catcher would be real nice because I can just kill that Roserade now. Smeargle poses 0 threat to me. So I'm going to catcher out the Roserade instead. And then retreat. Send out my second Leafeon, put the Rescue Energy onto it, and use Spore Prize again. So I wasn't certain if Eviolite blocked damage on evolved Pokemon. It used to, but I figure it wouldn't matter anyhow since Poison would put me at 90. But I flip another Heads on Super Scoop Up, which is awesome. And then put my energy down and take out Roserade. So next turn, you know, I've got that Amoonguss ready to go again. I draw into another one, and then I also have the Oak. So, you know, I don't have a dead hand right now. I can shuffle it out whenever I need to. And if he doesn't get another basic this turn, he's going to lose because I will be able to hit Miasma Wind again. So he plays his own Professor Oak right here, which I guess that's fine. He could have also used mine and then maybe gotten a different supporter, but it works. And then he shows me he's got a Cofagrigus, which, okay. This deck just seems to be a random assortment of annoying Pokemon that looks like that's the strategy. So it's kind of like mine, like I said, only a lot worse because it doesn't have any focus. So I think he grabs... I completely forget. I mean, he gets a basic, obviously. Maybe a Cavalion? Oh, a Cleffa. Okay, he gets a Cleffa, which, again, okay. You know you have Smeargle in active. If you need a supporter, you can use his Pokepower. But he doesn't. He discards his DCE and retreats into Cleffa. Again, okay. That's what he wants to do. That is fine with me. And Cleffa stays asleep. So I figure I may as well just go ahead and drop in a Mungus here. I can activate Spore Prize that it will poison and confuse Cleffa, which means it won't be asleep anymore, which means Miasma Wind is going to ruin its day. And again, I don't play the Oak because I have no need to right here. I'm going to save it for a turn that I need it, and I've got that other Mungus in my hand right now. There's no reason to get rid of that when I've got a guaranteed attack for 100 next turn. So Smeargle comes back in. Now we see an Eevee hit the bench. Who knows what that's going to evolve into? Maybe a Leafeon, or it could be freaking Vaporeon, the way this guy's deck is built. Who knows? But Smeargle comes back out, and then he whiffs his Pokegear, which sucks for him. He remembers to use Smeargle's power this time, though, so that's good. He's able to shuffle out his hand. And then he's not going to be able to get an attack off, barring a switch, since Smeargle is stuck active, and it doesn't look like he's got Sky Arrow Bridge here. Maybe he does. But he does get a Collector, so that means I'm going to have to take all 6 of my prizes to win. At this point, though, not really looking like that's going to be too hard. So we get Yenmask and Execute. So the Parade of Strange continues. We've got a Weedle and an Execute on the bench now, along with the Eevee. And he decides to put an energy onto the Weedle. So that's fine with me. I got another Super Scoop up. I'm going to go ahead and put this Amoonguss down now, and that'll guarantee a kill on Smeargle. You can see here, if you have an Amoonguss in play, its ability automatically triggers if you have any kind of evolution, but as long as you just pick no, there's no reason to cheat. And so I keep everything in my hand this turn. I guess I could have played the Super Scoop up, but decided to keep it just in case. You know, I can always play it next turn. And in comes Weedle. He evolves it into a Kakuna, and I look at that, what it wants to do. It can poison me if it wants, or he can use the evolution thing. So he attaches another grass energy to it, and even though it only takes 1, and then I think he just concedes. So yeah, really strange, weird match, but I want... Oh, no, he doesn't... Oh, okay, I remember what happens now. Super Scoop up, hit my 3rd heads in a row for it, and at this point he's just like, nope, fuck it, I'm done. And he concedes as soon as I play down the Amoonguss again. So there we go. Yep, Spore Prize, and he doesn't even give it a chance to finish. He just quits. So there's the deck working in perfect order. I mean, I don't think I could have run any hotter, but this is a really fun deck to mess around with. I say there in the chat, best game ever. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It's kind of just a fun deck, but it really can win matches just because it's so freaking annoying. The Super Scoop Ups, obviously, also help to get Amoonguss out of the active position when it inevitably gets catchered up there, which it will. And like I said, my deck is really optimized for speed, so I took out all the collectors. I run just off of Dual Ball and Level Ball and SSU. But give it a try if you want, and I'll have more coming your way shortly. I have a couple other gimmicky decks to try out, so you guys can look forward to some more random matches coming up in the future. See you soon.